Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Runs and Acceleration with your host Rohan and Akash for another exciting episode on Formula One. So, last time we talked about some of the top teams, but I think it's very important that now we cover probably the best midfield battle we are seeing. And except maybe Ferrari and Red Bull, everyone seems to be in the midfield. Biggest props to Haas.
Yeah.
Gunter Steiner, the Netflix champion, the fan favorite. He has done something amazing, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I think one thing is something has changed within Haas. I think that personally for
You mean
me,
Mazepin isn't there anymore?
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm happy with that personally.
Mm.
But I think the one thing that was really disappointing me with Haas, especially last season, was they they felt like they almost were like stating, oh, like essentially they could have just said, oh, we've given up for this season. All of our focus is going to be on the next season and everything like that. And I really hate it when teams kind of go into that because
Go in that
you
direction.
have to be thinking that you have a shot all the time, and you have to be pushing it
Right.
from a mental standpoint. So I didn't like that, and I think this like and now maybe I think we're seeing that like Haas actually really invested and actually really want to create a car that's going to be dominant. Let's be honest, it's actually a really nice car that they have. And since Mazepin's come out and Kevin Magnussen's come in, I don't know, what are your thoughts? I believe he's been bloody brilliant. Honestly, I have no other words to describe what Kevin Magnussen, like, literally been like,
Absolutely.
just came in really last minute into the team, has to get readjusted with everything, even though it's his old team. I don't know. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah. So, what a Viking return, man. Viking return at that. So, for those who don't know, he's Danish. Kevin Magnussen, and he has heritage from the Vikings. That's why he's been referred to that a few times. And
Yep.
he was, you can say, quite dishonorably discharged from the team.
Yep.
He had to leave F1 um, in what was a terrible year for Haas. Last year was even worse, and
Mm-hmm.
this year, start didn't look that great in testing, to be honest. But they were saying they're going to do better.
Yep.
Um, some very last minute changes. So just 2 weeks before the season started, obviously with what's going on in the world, there were certain changes in the sport. Formula One pulled out from the Russian Grand Prix, and Nikita Mazepin is a Russian oligarch's son
Yep.
who was also sponsoring the team. So Haas cut ties with them,
Yep.
because of which they were left without a driver. So rest assured, they got back Kevin Magnussen. There were talks about Hulkenberg and all these young drivers for Formula 2. So
Yep.
there were questions that why are you bringing back an old guy? And he comes in, sets the fastest time in testing, and first race P5.
Yeah.
He finished ahead of what? He finished ahead of Bottas and all these Alonso, all of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mick had a good race as well. We'll get to Mick because he's had an interesting season, but he looked quick. His car got damaged in the first
Yeah.
part, and he just missed out on points.
Yeah. I think with Mick, it's I think this is going to be a really revealing year for him in either in a good way or in a bad way. For me personally, this is where it's really important that Mick can stay calm. I think, because I think last season he felt that yes, he was the lead driver. Now I don't think you can say that, because Magnussen is out driving the car. Or I personally don't think Magnussen's actually really out driving the car. I think it's more that the Haas car is actually genuinely quick, and generally it's a good,
Right.
it's a pretty solid car, and it's capable of getting you points and getting you proper race finishes. The issue for me is that Mick, I think, just need to be
How
focused.
much do you think that crash cost his confidence? Because they didn't run a car, and
Yeah,
even in
they didn't run a
Australia, they were
car.
kind of on the back.
Yeah, because they don't have that many spare parts and everything left. All those kinds of concerns. Don't want to risk it again.
Which I think might have influenced their result of not running in the points, because I don't think the drivers could push 100%.
Yeah, it's 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 a weird proposition to be like put into, especially if you're Mick, because you feel that, like, yes, there's like a logical point of view. Yeah, if I crash again, then that's just going to be such an expensive burden now for the team. But
It takes away his confidence.
yeah, exactly. But you also have to do you're there to race. You're not there to just sit on the sidelines. And when you mean you're there to race, you're there to race for the entire season. And I think that's, for me, this is going to be really important. A lot of people have suspected and predicted, yes, Mick could be a future Ferrari driver. And I think it's the moments and this season, I think that I think Ferrari are going to be really looking at, is seeing, okay, can we actually see a future in Mick Schumacher? He's got a pretty decent midfield car now. Can he actually now be getting consistent point finishes? It's still early on in the season. Not the best start that he would have wanted, but I think I personally think that he has the potential and has the racecraft really to outdrive a car. So that's why I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to what
I think he out-qualified and outraced his teammate at Australia, if I'm not wrong. He was one position ahead of Magnussen.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. But I still think that there's that Saudi Arabia that Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is I think still in his head, and I think he just needs to get it out of him really, and just move on really. So
moving on to some better teams, what about that Alpine and Mr. Bottas, Alfa Romeo saying he's going for P3 in the championship?
Yeah, that's I'm excited because for Alpha, it's Bottas is now finally, I think he looks confident. And I think that's something that we didn't really get to see in Mercedes. He was always playing second fiddle to Lewis, and now people he's getting the dominant strategy. He's doing this, and I think we all kind of forgot how good of a racer Bottas is, because this guy, especially back in his when he was driving for Williams, was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. That's why he got that Mercedes seat in the first place. And now I think we're seeing that resurgence and seeing back that kind of reignited flame. When I think about us Finns and doing well, I would have only imagine Kimi Räikkönen in this Alpha. Just imagine, how nice would it have been, because I personally think that it's just a great that Bottas is. I think he's happy also in Alpha. He looks to just be happier. That's why, which is something that I personally was not expecting. But now I'm just, it just puts a smile on my face, to be honest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think last team to discuss is Alpine, because one thing which has been great is the fact that with the rule changes, the cars being able to follow each other closer. We've seen some amazing racing this season. We've seen cars go 3 wide, 4 wide, and because they're a little bit smaller, so they can actually compete. And not just that, they can follow each other faster. So you're actually in Australia, you could see 4 different or 5 different cars who were on almost the same performance, and throughout the race they were together. And it wasn't just a DRS train. There were actually overtakes happening. There was Stroll, there was Albon, there was Pierre Gasly, then there was Bottas, and all of these guys are scrapping it out. So you're right. So some of the things we've discussed, cost cap is going to be an issue, because some teams like Aston Martin, for example, dude, what the hell? You've crashed 4 times this weekend, and Stroll, I don't know. That image of Stroll crashing with Latifi and both of them blaming each other, to me, is the definition of why pay drivers don't really need to be in Formula One, because both of them are here because of their sponsors, not necessarily their ability, and that was showing. So that's going to cost them. Alpine, like I said, they were so close. Alonso almost got pole position. He was driving the wheels of that car, but I'm just excited to see, because Alonso's got that fire back, and Alpine looks great. Obviously, Alfa Romeo is great. Tauri will always be there or thereabouts, and Gasly's getting that performance. I think they've turned the car down because they've had some reliability issues. So I won't be surprised if they're running a lower risk. So that's the thing, because it's so long and the regulations have still changed. A lot of teams are going to focus on reliability, because it's not just about the crashes on track, but any failure in reliability is going to cost you. And most of these teams, like Haas not having a spare part, or Alonso's failure in qualifying when he crashed, was because of a part that cost just £1. and that cost him so much. So, and it was not just that part failing, but that crash cost him almost a gearbox and a suspension. So all these crashes are going to pile up. So drivers really need to be careful where they go for it. And you're going to see some great driving, because I think some great passes already. DRS seems to be powerful. All these teams are very, very close. Like Williams was nowhere in the first two races, and Albon just drove the hell out of that car and was 7th before his pit stop. McLaren are back.
Coming last and getting a point finish. Incredible. Yeah.
Amazing. McLaren seem to be back, but I feel that was a track specific thing. They're still not good on corners which are slow and where braking is required. So I don't know if they'll be great in Imola, Spain, and Monaco, for example. So a long road ahead for McLaren, but at least, you know, they're in the fight. A lot of teams in the fight. So amazing season ahead.
I think let's close it off this. What's your midfield prediction? Let's say Ferrari, Red Bull. Let's see the side. Ferrari, Red Bull, and then I personally think Mercedes will come third-ish. I'm gonna say that. Give me 4, 5, and 6. That's all I want. Yeah.
So it's too early to say, even for top 3, because I feel Mercedes, if they can get that car unlocked, I think they have the potential.
Okay, but how about this? Because now I'm thinking about it also, Mercedes might be a little bit. Okay, what's
and it's a very long season.
Exactly. So what would be your three after Ferrari and Red Bull?
Merc, definitely. Merc might just pull off a surprise, so don't count them out just yet. Russell is still second in the championship, and they're still second in constructors. It's not that big a points gap if Ferrari has a bad weekend, because Sainz didn't score points as well. So reliability aside, we are looking at Mercedes. I'm going to go Alpine 4.
Okay.
Alpine seem to have a very good package and great talent. McLaren and Alfa Romeo for 5th. 5th and 6th. I see alphatauri as a 7 right now, because we've really not seen any pace from them yet. But I also see Haas there. In fact, Haas I'd put with them, because I think that car is, I'm not sure. We've not seen a full performance. But these 4 teams, actually, any one of them could come 5th, in my opinion. Maybe Alpine is another league, but all of the others can come 5th. And the last 2 for me seem to be Williams and Aston Martin. I really don't think they've got the pace. But hopefully for Seb, there's something. Because Seb actually refused to name his car. He always gives his car a name, like new names like Dirty Diana, Luscious, like I don't know what all, but he's not named his car yet, because he said he wants to get some pace out of it. So, you know, that's a wake-up call for them. Hopefully they get something out. But yeah, either way, I think there's going to be a lot of unexpected podiums. Don't be surprised if Alpine could win last year. Don't be surprised if you get a Haas podium and maybe, I don't know, an Alfa Romeo win. Anything's possible.
So very true. All right, we'll have to see.
Let's see.
We'll have to see.
On to Imola.
Such an exciting season awaits us. All right. See you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.